Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Johanna. If this is your first time clicking in, thank you so much. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. Here we do everything: fashion talk, sewing tutorials. If you're a fashion lover, if you're a sewing lover, here is the right place for you. So today guys, I'll be doing a tutorial on how to drape a bustier with queen Anne neckline. So I'll be using the basic bodice to manipulate to a bustier. It's a very easy tutorial. I want you to take your time, watch the video, and you learn a lot. So we're also going to be using the bust dart to contour the back pattern. So when you use the bust dart to contour the back pattern, the back would be shorter than the front. Why? Because the back length of the body is shorter than the front length because of the bust. So guys, if it's something you like to learn, please keep on watching and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to it. So guys, these are the measurements we're going to be needing for this project. You can pause this video and check it out and measure yourself accurately. The first thing I'll be doing on my pattern paper is to draw a perpendicular line, that is my shoulder line and my center front line. Next, I would mark shoulder to bust line, which is 11.5 inches in this case. 11.5 inches from my shoulder line. Then I square that out. Next, I would mark shoulder to under bust. Shoulder to under bust in my case is 15.5 inches. So I'll mark 15.5 inches in 3 places to get a straight line. Then I would mark shoulder to waist, which is 18 inches. Then I added 0.5 for seam allowance. So I marked 18.5 inches. So right now I'm squaring out my under bust line and now my waistline. So we have our bust point line, under bust line, and waistline. Next, I would mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on my shoulder line. Then I'll come down by 1 inch from my shoulder line. That is my shoulder slope. Then I'll connect from that shoulder slope to the shoulder line. That is my new shoulder line right there. So to get your chest line, you would calculate your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Then that is your chest line. So bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, you would measure it from your shoulder slope as I did in the video. So right there we have our chest line. Now on the bust point line, I would mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I would mark it on the bust point line, on the bust line, and on the waistline, and rule that with a straight ruler. And I'll come out like to the center front and I would mark 1 inch. Then towards the side front, I would mark 1.5 inches. It depends on your bust circumference. The bust circumference of this pattern is 40 inches. So if yours is more than 40 inches, if it's 50 inches, you can use 2 inches for the center front. If it's less, you can use 1 inch on both sides. Then from the bust point line, I went down by 1 inch. Then I connected it to that line. So from the bust point, you come down by 1 inch. Now I want to determine my neckline. So whatever neckline you're comfortable with, you're going to mark. But for this case, I will be using 6 inches. Sorry about that. 6 inches for my neckline. Then I'll connect that line to the neckline. So my nipple to nipple line, I'll connect that to the neckline. And I'll go up from the bust point line, that is 1 inch. Then I would contour my neckline on each side by 1 inch. So we don't want to have any gaping on our neckline. That is why we are contouring it. If you do this, you would not have any gaping or your neckline being loose. So what you can also do is that towards the center front you can do 0.75, and towards the side front you can do 1.5 or 1.25. Then on the center front I went down by 0.5 to give that sweetheart neckline. It depends on the neckline you're going for. So I want like a slanty Queen Anne neckline. I really love this style of neckline. It's so chic and so beautiful and so different. I love it. Now we're going to draw our armhole curve. So first of all, I will determine my midpoint and mark. Then from that midpoint, you go out by 0.75. Then you connect it from the shoulder slope to that midpoint. Perfect. Then on the chest line, you will calculate your bust circumference divided by 4 and mark. Then you will replace the dots you use on the neckline. So I use 2 inches for my neckline. I don't want to replace exactly 2 inches. If you want, that's fine, because I want my neckline to be very stable. So I'm going to replace 1.75, yes, or 1.5. Then I would mark the armhole because I want it to be very firm. Next, on my underbust circumference, I divided it by 4, which is 9. 36 divided by 4 is 9. Then I added my dart replacement and I added my seam allowance. My seam allowance is 1.5 inches. The same thing with my waist, divided my circumference by 4 and I added my seam allowance and also replaced my dart intake. And then I'll connect those dots with my curve ruler. So this is not straight, it's kind of curvy, as you can see in the video. Next, on the neckline, I want to contour that neckline to avoid gaping. So what you can do also on the armhole side, you can also contour it about 0.25 and connect it down to the neckline. Next, we are going to create our darts. I'm going to be using 2 inches for the dart because my front length is 18 inches, my back length is 16 inches. So the difference is what I would be using for my dart. So my dart will be 2 inches. So I would start drawing my dart from the bust point down to 2 inches. So as you can see in the video, my dart is drawn. I want you to watch the way I cut out the center front. If you notice, I folded the dart first before I cut it out. So this is the front pattern done. So let's get to the back pattern. So I already drew in all my vertical measurements. The first thing I will be doing is to mark my shoulder divided by 2, that is 8 inches. Then I came down by 1 inch, that is my shoulder slope. Then I marked my chest line, then I ruled that out. So I already marked my chest line, my bust line and my waistline already drawn out. So I'll be marking the shoulder divided by 2 on the chest line also. Then I connected that to the shoulder slope. Next, I would be marking the width of my shoulder. That is 3.75. Then I would determine the neckline depth. The neckline depth I'll be going for will be 6 inches. Then I would rule that out. Perfect. So on the bottom of the neckline, I'll be using 2.75, about there. So you can use whatever width you want, depends on you, depends on your style. Next, I will be marking my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch seam allowance. Then I'll connect that with my French curve. So we have our armhole. Perfect. On my waistline, I would mark my waist divided by 4. Then I would add my dart allowance of 1 inch. Then I would add my 1.5 inches seam allowance. Then on the center back, I would take in my zip bulge. So we don't want that excess fabric at the center back. That doesn't really look nice. So we're going to remove that. So I brought my side front pattern to get the exact side seam for my side back. So you take your side front and match it with your side back and draw it out. But before then, I would add my 0.5 inch seam allowance. So what I did was that I marked shoulder to waist 16 inches instead of 16.5 inches. So I would match it together and trace it. Guys, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. I would be willing to answer any question. You just have to practice, you get it. It's not a one-day journey. Making a bustier, you can just get it once, but if you practice, you get it. Continuous practice and taking the right measurements. You need to take right measurements. I have a video. If you don't know how to take a measurement, it's a video. It shows you how to take your measurement step by step. I would link that on the description box or in the comment section. So now our side seam would match when we are sewing. So from the center back, I would mark 4.5 inches, and that is where I would draw my darts. So my darts would be 18 centimeters and 0.5 at each side. That is 1 inch wide. So I already added my seam allowance on the side. So the only allowance you're going to add is at the top side, at the zip, and armhole. Right now, just cut. So in the next tutorial, guys, I would show you how to sew this beautiful bustier top with peplum and a puff sleeve step by step. If you want to see that tutorial, give me a thumbs up or just drop a heart emoji. That would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. I am so happy you got to this point, and if you got to this point, let me know with the heart emoji.